Welcome to Run With It, Canada's running fitness and health program. On this month's episode, I was in conversation with Kristin Marquet, who talks about her passion for running, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's go to the Sports Doctor is In segment. Check this out. Joining me is Dr. Bobweil, known as Dr. Bob, who is a respected sports podiatrist and radio host of the Sports Doctor. He's back on the show for the Sports Doctor is In segment on Run With It. It's live from Chicago and Vancouver. And what a topic, timely topic about tips for running in winter and preventing injuries. Welcome back, Dr. Bob.
Always back. Happy to be back with you, Christine, and contribute to some solid education in the world of whether it's sports injuries or sports parenting or coaches or whatever it happens to be. And we want to touch on a couple of important topics today, again, starting with, running in the winter, when we have to think about things like warming up properly, not running right out the door and getting involved too early and causing problems. We want to pay attention to dressing properly, and the whether we have extra layers, etc. Making sure we've got a head covering, a hat. And most importantly, probably, or as importantly, is traction. When we're dealing with snow or ice, then traction's a problem. So we tell people, back off, be careful, make sure you have proper traction. Even if you're adding some type of cleat apparatus up under the ball of the foot with your shoes, we want you to pay attention to traction in that regard. And especially gloves, also very, very important when we're talking about these parts of the body, again, and warming up. Second thing I wanted to touch on is the points about returning from injury and what's important, because a lot of times we see people are in a hurry and they skip a few steps and they end up with something that might be much, much more aggressive, much more chronic because they didn't pay attention. So we want to tell people, get it. If you have an injury, whether it's to the foot and ankle, whether it's your shins, whether it's your knees, whether it's your back, get a diagnosis. Get a proper diagnosis, see a physician in order to get a plan regarding a smart return. I use the term, intelligent rest, which means, again, we don't want to try to push through injuries that oftentimes can be, again, made much more problematic because we're not respecting the rest and recovery where we really, really need to recover. And rehabilitation of some sort is always smart. Again, if you see a physician to get a diagnosis, and or a physical therapist, again, to help you with the diagnosis, physical therapist who could help you with exercises to correct, to strengthen, to protect the area that was a problem before, then you have a much, much better chance of this not being that big a deal and being able to recover fast enough, to return, not only running, but we'd put on any sport but the title of your show is Running With It. So we want to make sure we include it, right, Christine?
Yes. And the thing too is that when you're not feeling well and you are pushing yourself, like, oh, okay, I have a cold, but you're feeling, not well, but you go out and run, that can kind of risk an injury too, right? Because you're
not only that, but your resistance is down. If you resist, especially in this day and age with these viruses that are the flu and COVID and all of these things, being upfront very much in our awareness. If you're sick, don't do it. Allow your body to recover. No way you should be running if you have any kind of a fever or, again, if you have fatigue. And yes, your point that you could be more susceptible to injury if, in fact, you are tired or fatigued, then again, that could be something that we want to pay attention to. And again, proper warm-up, whether you walk the first 5-10 minutes. I love skipping and going side to side and doing a little bit of jogging in place, something to allow that body to warm up. You could do it inside if you want. You just don't want to jump into the run. So many people still do this cold without warming up.
Yes, and then following a proper running program or a program that, your chosen sport, if you will, and then that is really important too, right? Because if we're not at that level and we're training at a level that's not good for us, it can really, prevent an injury or make us, suffer burnout as well.
Overuse is the number one problem in the world of running. It's just either too aggressive. I call it the terrible twos, too much, too soon, too fast, where we end up with just causing problems because of the fact that we're stressing the same areas consistently. Decades ago, no runners worked out in the gym, Christine. It was, hey, I'm going to get muscle bound. I'm going to get stiff, and my longtime colleague, the late, great Bob Guida would say, look at these runners. They're all hunched over. We got to strengthen these guys. Now, there's not a serious runner who doesn't take off running training, seriously. The idea of strengthening areas, feet, ankles, core, low back, even upper extremities, in order to be in your best shape to run safely. And that's the name of the game. So you want to pay attention to, again, overkill or overuse. You mentioned burnout. That's another big problem where we see, the A1 personality. I've had people who said, I had a famous psychologist, and he was an avid runner, and he ran 10 years, never missed a day. And you want to know what his specialty was? Addiction.
Yes. Yeah.
He just would not back off when it came to his running. He was very, very, very overly aggressive. So we want some moderation, and we want to respect the fact, if you're hurting, get it identified, take a little bit of time off till you do get your problem identified so you can have a smart plan. What did we say? Yes, intelligent rest.
Yeah. Well said, Dr. Bob. And if people want to get a hold of you or, listening on your show, where can they go?
They can go to sportsdoctorradio.com. We're upgrading the radio shows, but you go back years. You could probably catch Christine on 3 or 4 shows over the past few years. And we have thousands of followers. We have a lot of sports medicine information in the article and newspaper side of that website. We're very excited about MVP Sports Parents and the Run With It. Great present still today. I want to hold up hashtag Hey Sports Parents, where we talk about trying to prevent problems with our youngsters who might be quite serious in this sports. It's on Amazon. It's a great Christmas present. And I want to wish everybody in your audience and mine, Christine, have a safe holiday, have a wonderful holiday, and no arguments allowed.
Yes. And I'll see you next month in a new year, right?
Unbelievable. Yes. I always look forward to chiming in with you, Christine, and Run With It. So yes, we'll catch you next time.
Joining me today is Kristin Marquet. She's the owner and creative director of Marquet Media, LLC. She's also an accomplished author, publicist, and founder of Femme Founder. She's here today to talk about her work as a successful entrepreneur and her passion for running. I am excited to talk to you because I love running. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It really is an honor.
Yes. Well, I'd like to know, have you always been a lifelong runner?
I have. I started running, cross country and track in 7th and 8th grade. And I ran throughout all high school. I ran when I was in college, but I wasn't on a team. And I really started to get serious about distance running, endurance running, probably, I want to say, maybe about 15 years ago. And, 5 to 6 days a week, I try and do endurance runs. Living in New York, it's not really conducive to running outside, 12 months a year. So, I run whenever I can and, have a treadmill, but it's still not the same as running outdoors. But I think it's the best form of stress management and anxiety management, because as a founder, you have so many irons in the fire, which we can talk about in a minute. But I really do think it's the most therapeutic, organic form of caring for your mental health. It's great. Lifting weights is fine. Yoga is, I'm not really a yoga person. I am definitely more of somebody that needs high intensity and something that's going to make me sweat and make me calm down and focus and just, so and you can do it anywhere. So that's the thing that I really love about it.
Yeah. So what do you like most about running? For self-care, but is it just after the run when it's over?
No, it's during, even getting to miles 5 and 6, especially at my age, it could be a little daunting on the joints, but there's something, that just keeps me going. Once in a while, I'll have those outlier days where I really just don't feel like it. But once the anticipation of running is over and I'm actually on the road or I'm on the treadmill, it just clears my head. So it's definitely mental health, self-care, but it's also fitness. And it also helps me start my day appropriately. Yes. A good sweat is the way to start the day.
Yes, you can focus better too. So you say that. So would you run like really early in the morning then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually in between 5 and 6. Obviously during the winter months, because it doesn't get lighter out here until 7:30. I might wait until then. Or if I have a really busy day, then I'll just hop on my treadmill and I'll run from 5 to 6 or 6:30, whatever, whatever I feel like doing, whatever is conducive for my day. But yeah, I try and make it a point to get out 5 to 6 days a week.
That's wonderful. And are you training for anything?
No. I've done half marathons, I've done marathons, but I just, that's just what I love to do. Obviously if there was a 10K in my town, maybe I would do it, because the terrain in my town, we actually live in a valley. So there's so many hills. So it's great exercise, but it could be daunting. Running like 5 miles up and down hills. It's a little bit much on the joints, but I really do enjoy solo running. And I like running in smaller groups, like when I ran the New York City Marathon. That was just way too many people. That's just not my thing.
Yes. Do you listen to music, or you like just to run and just take everything in nature? And
usually it's just me, my sneakers, my sweats, and that's it. Once in a while, maybe if I'm on the treadmill, I will listen to music or watch TV, because I have a television down there, or I'll read a book, or work on my iPad. But generally when I'm outdoors, I like it just to be me and the great outdoors.
That's wonderful, again. And any tips for those who are, they're watching this and they're thinking, I want to start, but how do I start?
We all started from somewhere. Some of us are built to be runners. Some of us are not. And whether you are or you aren't, I would say the first step is to get into a cadence of jogging, even if it's 10 minutes a day. I would recommend 10-minute splits, 5 miles an hour. And then I would recommend a recovery period of 5 minutes. And then I would recommend another 10-minute interval. So that way you build up your stamina, you build up your breath, so you're not keeled over on the side of the road, with stomach cramps, and just take it as it comes. But if you're somebody that hates running, I don't really think there's any way for you to love it. Like, I just don't, I think some people love it or they don't mind doing it, but the people that hate it, they need to find another activity.
Yes, just find that activity that you enjoy most to keep with it. And yours is running. Now, you are such a busy, entrepreneur. You wear many hats. Talking about nutrition, probably fueling your body for running, but also for what you do. So tell us about your nutrition.
Yeah. So, once in a while I have those binge days where I will just eat, tortilla chips and guacamole and, eat all these things that are good to have in small portions. But, I do have my days where I'm just, I just want to eat and eat. But I generally try and eat usually egg whites for breakfast and gluten-free bread. And then lunch is usually roast turkey or a salad. And then dinner is, it could be grilled chicken Milanese, it could be a salad, it could be just really focusing on lean protein with a lot of vegetables. But if I do have a race or if I am going to do an endurance run, then the night before, I'll have probably like 2 cups of rice. No, you're not supposed to, but whatever. It makes me happy. So
you have those cheat days too, like, a small little bowl of chips and nut chocolate bar, maybe dark chocolate. But it's also, probably fueling your body for, you've been in business for over 14 years as a successful entrepreneur. You're a runner, lifelong runner, but hydration too. You want to keep hydrated at your desk and, before your runs. And so tell us, how much water do you drink?
a lot. I am, I'm thirsty all the time. So I think I probably have, 10, 16 ounce bottles of water a day, maybe more. I couldn't function without having a bottle of water, like at least every 2 hours, just because, like I said, I'm that person that gets dehydrated very easily. And especially when I'm running, so I like to try and drink Gatorade before and after, or water before and after, especially for the longer endurance runs. But I would say when I'm not running, during the day, yeah. A lot, probably over 100 ounces a day.
That's great, keeping, because it's just giving you that overall health, right? And so tell us about your many roles. You have your own publicity company, I should say. You are an accomplished writer. You have the founder of Femme Founder. You have amazing clients. You write for high-profile magazines. So take us through.
Yeah. So back in 2007, I had worked for a consulting company for 3 years. And then during the financial crisis, I had lost my job. And at that point I said, am I going to get a job or am I going to start a business? I had also been freelancing on the side, freelance writing and freelance PR. So I decided to take the leap of faith, took my freelance role, started a full service agency. And I also went back to school to get another graduate degree, which has been great. It's been amazing. But yeah, I would say over the last 15 years, it went from freelancer with like 5 clients to full service agency with 30 clients. I have a small team of 4 of us, which is fantastic. It's so much fun. But the thing is, we're all remotely all along the East Coast. So very seldom were we able to get into meet in person, but we try and do what we can. And in 2017, I started Femme Founder as an offshoot from Marquet Media, because I had so many potential clients that wanted to get PR, but they couldn't afford to hire a PR firm, because let's admit it, most PR firms, even very scrappy one, it's going to cost you to start at $3,500 a month. And this is US. So $3,500 a month USD, like at a minimum. So that's one thing, and it started off as a blog that had like 5 readers. And over the last 5.5 years, it's evolved into a full service media company with courses, products. We interview a lot of high profile female entrepreneurs, Kristen, you're going to be on there pretty soon, which is very exciting. And now, get like millions of readers a month, have hundreds of thousands of email subscribers on that list, and it's been primarily done through word of mouth and organic SEO, content marketing, and some interviews actually go viral, which is great. So the interviewee will end up sharing it with their network, and I'll just keep on growing from there and there. And that's how it's manifested into this full service company. And it actually accounts for half my revenue. Actually, more than that. It's like 40% of my, 60% of my revenue. Excuse me.
Oh, I mean, that is just amazing. Now I want to know, what about some career highlights?
Yeah, I mean, I have many, but I would say my biggest is going from freelancer to full service agency within 3 months and growing to be one of the fastest boutique firms in Manhattan. I would say, that was in 2009, somewhere around there. And then in conjunction with that, or I would say more to piggyback off of that, I would say figuring out and niching down and only focusing on working with female founders. We only have one male founder on our roster, but it took a lot of testing and a lot of growing pains to figure out who our target audience is, who we could help as a team and deliver the most value. So, they say riches are in the niches. Yeah, I agree with that.
Thanks for watching. If you have a question or comment about today's program, go to our website, which is runwithit.ca. Until next time, run with it. Run With It is sponsored by the Rio Theater, Mallory's Fashion Network, CJMQ Radio, Craft Hair Academy, and the Vancouver Sun Run presented by Kyle Tire.